How about the last time we talked about the choice theory and react therapy, and Bernans mentioned life is a matter of choice, right?
Yeah.
And then of course Eller in long time ago also mentioned about the choice, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what does that mean to you? Life is a matter of choice.
I think for me, I really like that theory because I think that we all make choices, whether they be small choices of the day or like big choices, like life choices, like for me, like which school do I go to type of thing.
Yeah.
And we don't always have like clarity on those situations, but when we do make those choices, it's kind of like, okay, well, now whatever those consequences are, like you kind of have to be okay with those and then work through them.
Yeah.
So I really liked that. I liked the idea of like having choice.
Yeah.
And making choices for yourself. I mean, in a way, it's kind of empowering because you know that you have all these things, and if you're in tune with yourself, then the whole behavior. I liked that aspect of it.
The whole behavior like a cop.
And I think that not that any of these people are wrong in any of their approaches, but I liked that one because it was a little more holistic, and it's like you have all these different parts. It's not just your thoughts; it's also like these other things and environmental factors and stuff like that. So I liked that because it was talking kind of more about the entire picture of like being a human. So I like that.
Yeah. It's interesting. Bernans say our needs like the engine of the car, right?
Yeah.
And then your steering wheel is what do you want, right?
Yeah.
And then what's the front wheel? Remember?
The thoughts,
the action and thinking, and then what's two in the back?
The philosophy and feelings.
Physiology. Like when you do action outside the room, right? And then I know both of you are senior, right? And then you have your future to choose, right?
Yeah.
So kind of your car, you are ready to drive away. So when we learn about this theory, is that helpful? As a senior, help you to think about what do you want for the future?
I think so, yeah. It definitely helps because it helps helps you figure out what is the choices that you're going to make for the future, whether or not they're like good for you or if it's good for like the overall. Like I know some people will choose like their future based on other people.
Okay.
It's like you need to choose it for yourself as well, and that theory kind of help like, oh, this is what I want, this is what I need, this is the choice I'm going to make for it.
Stuff. Everyone's car looks different.
Yeah.
So so it's just that's just kind of what I thought of. My wants and needs are different than hers.
Yeah.
So I think that's also important. Just thinking about like counseling in general. Like when you're working with people, what they want out of life is going to be a lot different than maybe what you think they need or like what you want yourself, and you kind of have to put that aside and kind of go with them. So I like that part of it.
Yeah. And then remember when we talk about Eller, we talk about he has very poor childhood, right?
Yes.
And inferiority can be the power for superiority.
Yeah.
Can you guys want to share a little bit about that experience? Especially when we in our study, you are in forensic psychology, right?
Yeah.
They both in forensic psychology, and then the client we work with, they have in trouble in law, right?
Yeah.
So they made the moment when you work with them, they may feel like their life is over, they have no future to looking for.
Yeah.
So do you think that some kind of Eller's experience can be helpful, or any other these theories experience can be helpful for your client?
I think recognizing like kind of what you've done, especially talking about like clients who have like are convicted criminals or something like that. You know what I mean? Like that's who we're going to be working with and interacting with. So kind of making them understand some of their actions, but also saying like, okay, like I'm a positive person, so I like to say like, okay, we're here and this has happened to us, but like where are we going, and what's that road look like, and how do we get there, type of thing. And I think that helps a lot for that because he's experienced different things but he still felt, inferior, and so it's kind of like, okay, well, he's pretty successful.
Yeah.
We're talking about him, so he did something right. So it's kind of like, how do you get to that place where you want to be after experiencing some difficulties early on in life?
Yeah.
And I think the hope theory, I really liked that one. Because hope is something that I identify a lot with. Because I have a lot of hopes for the future, and I think that makes me successful and makes both of us successful because we have hope, and so we're like, I think for me, a more positive attitude, if I have hope, then I'm going to be more likely to have some enthusiasm and passion for what I'm doing, because I'm like, I think this is going to happen, so I'm going to kind of put action to it.
So when we talk about hope theory, we say hope theory mentioned about 3 elements. Everybody, you remember, it's hope, it's a goal and pathway, and then the agency.
Yes.
Right. So then, as we mentioned, we need to have a goal. Right? And then a lot of time, there's also something to do with reality. Say you need to know what do you want.
Yes.
So a lot of time, the trouble for maybe the people that write load over our student, we don't know what we want.
Yeah, and I think even for our clients and kind of what we study is that a lot of individuals who have issues with crime, they don't have a lot of hopes or goals. They're living in the moment, and that's kind of what gets them in trouble. The thought process that they're going through now is just the only thing that's driving them. They're not really looking towards the future, whether that be a variety of causes and factors. But so I think that really plays a role in that too, because you need some sort of direction in your life, or else you're going to be feeling lost.
So how many students in college in general, your peer, you can tell they really know what do they want?
I think a lot of people don't know.
Yeah, I was going to say,
that's okay.
It's because I know one thing, especially freshmen, because we were peer mentors last semester, so we saw freshmen when they came in, and you can tell most of them have no idea what they want to do, no direction, do not know, and that's okay, because I think coming to college and one of the parts of college is figuring out what direction, where you want to go, what you want to do, and that's as you progress through the years, so people in our class now, you can see a lot of them do have a lot of hope and direction and what they want to do with their life. Not all of them, some of them still don't really know, or they don't think they can accomplish their goal, which is something, or accomplish what they want to do eventually, which is heartbreaking, because I think that what you was talking about, once you have hope and direction, I mean, if you just put your mind to it, you can do it. But it varies on the year and the classes depending on, but I think more so than not, people still don't really know what they want to do or have an idea of even where they want to go.
Yeah, and I know for some of them we talked about internal conflict. I think that's a big thing in a lot of these where you want something but you don't understand how to get it and that type of thing. And I think especially for people in academia who have a lot of hopes and dreams of what you want to do, whether that's specific or not. And you kind of have a lack of direction, and so that's difficult. But I think that emphasizing that it is okay to have kind of a broader sense of where you want to go, and then you do life, if you will, and you figure that out. And I think that is cool, and I think that's what I love about education in general, especially doing this stuff where we're getting hands-on experience. You get to have some reflective time and the experience so that you do have a clear direction, because that's the only way you're going to figure it out.
So then when you're in the class and then you listen to me to share with their life story, is that helpful? You said, they are human beings and stuff.
It was very helpful, because I think sometimes, especially as students, we see these people as the
authority figure.
And it's kind of we're oh my gosh, we have to be right up there with them. They were perfect, so we have to be perfect. And it's really cool to get their life story, because it's they are human. They did, they did fall a little bit, just like everyone else does. So it kind of just reassured like especially me as a student, like, oh, I can get there. It might take me a little bit of time because just like with them, some of them, it took them a little bit of time. And I mean, and most of them, like, they had one idea where they wanted to go and then they switched and went somewhere else, you know? So it was really just reassuring, like, oh, I can do that. I can get there. I can eventually get to where they are, you know?
Yeah. A lot of people, they have a mixed feeling about Freud. After these, and then we talk about, actually a lot of other people, they follow Freud and then they against him, they create another theory. Right? So what do you take up for that part?
I mean, I think it was a good foundation. That was my leadership style that I was instructed on. So I think he had a great foundation. We're still talking about him. He's a little controversial, but I think that a lot of his stuff really did set a good ground layer for a lot of the things that are developing now. I mean, there's a reason why people are like taking some of those ideas and using them, because we all again have those different thoughts. So I think that was really cool. And even I think out of everyone, he probably would be the least like in touch with students compared to all the rest of these people. But he was a little bit longer time period. So, but I think that even doing the activity and being a leader in that activity, some of the like word association type stuff and making people kind of think about themselves in a different light, that was super helpful, and I think that still like applies today.
Right.
I agree. Yeah.
So if without him, we don't have other people alive. Right. So how about for we, because they are seniors, so when we talk about the needs, right? And then we know Marcel talk about the cake. And then Glass will talk about the chair. You agree with the chair? So the chair say we have 5 needs, and then this is power. I say control here, power, freedom, love, belonging, and fun. And then surviving is here. Is that true for you? You have to have fun, feel power, and then freedom, and feel love and belonging, so you can survive.
I can see it, yes. I think, it's funny because I would not put those 4 needs. I would definitely say freedom, love, and belonging would be 2 of them. But the fun and control are 2 new ones that I've never seen someone put in for survival. I mean, but I think it's true for the most part, because I think especially for some people, like, I know I have an issue with like power and control, so like that would be a need that I would need to have. I think everyone, the fun can be interpreted in however way it is, but it is like you need that kind of relaxation time to like de-stress from the other worries in your life. So I can see that.
You can see that. For students to success in college, they should have all this.
I don't think you need all of it, but
I think everything is balanced. I'm sure there are a couple of things that I could put in for there as well.
Like, okay, so
I have to think about it, but
you have been here for 3.5.
Right.
So did you have when we say control, it's more like how you feel you are in control. Your life, you are in control.
I think for me, it's more like motivation and drive. I think that's a little bit different than control, because control we don't always have, even though we think we want it or need it. So I think for me, it was more like, am I motivated to do this? You know, what's going to get me to where I want to be and to where I think I'm surviving type thing. I think that's more like prevalent for me at least.
How about fun? Is college fun?
I think so,
And I think everything is balance.
That's what it is. Is that you need all of that in balance, because there are some that sometimes take fun a little bit too far, or that's all they focus on, and then they don't have anything else. And I think, and that's also, I think, for some people, it's a learning process on how to balance those things, because it is, you know, you like, just like, because you're human, you know, you fall, and you know, you have to go through those phases where you learn. And so that's
And also one thing I like, Glass said, learning equals fun. He said, if you don't have fun, you're not able to learn. You know, so a lot of times students don't aware. You can sit in the class even you don't like it. You maybe can enjoy it.
Right.
You know, you guys such a good student. How do you enjoy the class if you don't like it? How do you learn to enjoy it?
I think I just have to kind of think of it in a way, because the reality is that not everything is going to make you like super excited to learn about it, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's more just understanding the importance of it in whatever you're going to be doing. I mean, there's a reason why it's in the curriculum, so it's kind of like, okay, it might not be the thing that interests you the most, but understanding that it is still important, and there's a reason why we're learning it.
I look at like the overall big picture of it, so I might not enjoy that specific topic, but it's like for my overall degree, how will it fit into that, and that's kind of how I interpret it and where I can put it in and what I can take out of it for my degree and stuff.
Yeah. So before we almost run out of time, right? So before I let you go, okay, take one thing you feel you take away from my counseling class. From all these people, those psychologists, they spend their life, to create a theory.
Yeah.
And now they put out there, people write them into different chapters.
Yeah.
Okay, and then they put into books. And for us to learn, and what do you take away from this class?
For me, I think it's just like that it is possible to kind of change and adapt. It's a really fluid system, and I think that to me, it's like, okay, like you can do this, and maybe one day you can make your own theory. That would be kind of cool. So I think that it just kind of gives me confidence, and also understanding that like people are different, and so I think it's really important to be able to like understand different types of people and be able to like serve them in the way that they need to be served. I think that's like a huge part of it, and I had a lot of fun this semester, and it was I really enjoyed doing the group sessions. I didn't realize. In the beginning, I was like, oh, I hope people talk, but it really, we formed almost a bond in a way in each of our groups, and it was cool to interact with people that you've never talked to before in your life, and you learn all these things about them. So just understanding that everyone has something going on, and it's just like important to kind of be aware of others and kind of what they're going through.
How about you?
One thing that I took away, you touched on it, was that like for all these different theories, they're all different but similar in a way, but each person has like a different theory that speaks to them more, and that's something that like I found in the group sessions. Whenever we like went through the different theories, some people talked more or like opened up more from one theory than they did with the others, and I thought that was really cool because it is showing how you do have to adapt in the future if you are a counselor and like talking to different people, because not everyone's going to find one theory the same way. You might need to take in a little, other theories to help them open up. And I love the group sessions. I thought they were awesome. And it was one thing that, like Jess said, like we formed like a little bond within ourselves, and it was something that I didn't think that we were going to open up as much as we did. And it was also really cool to know that like some people are going through the same things I'm going through, and it's something, I have just one more person I can like talk to about it if I ever need to in the future. It was a really cool experience. I really enjoyed it.
I always remind students, each of us is a book. Right? And we are just like a theory as much as like them, right? So I'm so glad today I read 2 more books. And thank you for sharing with us.
Of course.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And hopefully, the one you are in front of camera see our Facebook interview. If you want to learn more about this theory, you can take my class. Or you can learn from them, from Google, from books. A lot of theories there. But our point is that they have their story, and you can write your story. So our interview is here. Okay, bye.